Mark Rogers TV back to talk some Washington State football. We bring in Scott Brewster from KNWA. He's a producer there at Fox 24. He's joined us several times to talk the Cougars coming off that 9-4 campaign. Scott, how you doing this afternoon?
Doing well, Mark. How are you doing today?
I'm doing just fine. So thanks for jumping on board. As always, some coaching changes are pretty standard, pretty normal for just about any team across America. Just these coaches' lives are pretty nomadic, jumping from team to team. So 4 changes on the coaching staff for Washington State. Actually, the last one announced within the last 12 hours in offensive line coach Mason Miller, who comes over after just the one season at Nevada in 2017, very much Hal Mummy disciple based on his timeline and coaching tree. If you could just kind of group together all the coaching changes and get us up to date.
Yeah, definitely. So we had four coaching changes, which I think were all huge in their each individual way. We had Coach Mastro, the running back coach. He left for Oregon, the Ducks. So you got to cross, Pac-12 thing going there. You got Roy Manning, the exciting coach Roy Manning with the videos and everything on Twitter. Unfortunately, he departed to UCLA. So that's another Pac-12. He's special teams over there as well. You got Coach Grinch, who left for Ohio State University. He's not like the D coordinator there or anything. He was our D coordinator, but he's the 10th assistant over there. So that confused a lot of people as far as like, why go to Ohio State if you're the 10th assistant? But then again, they were thinking, okay, it's Ohio State. And then the fourth guy was Clay McGuire. He left Washington State. He was the offensive line coach, went back to Texas Tech. And then you actually had rumors about Coach Leach leaving. So that also, played a factor into the recruiting class. So, I mean, having those 4 coaches leave and then, rumors with Leach going to like a Tennessee or going to an Arkansas or going to something like that, those all played a huge factor. But, we got Tracy Claeys from Minnesota as our new defensive coordinator. He shut us down in the Holiday Bowl 2 years ago. I know Michigan State shut us down last year. So having Tracy Claeys as our new D coordinator, I'm actually really excited about that. And I'm excited, for the Nevada coach as well. And I'm excited to see who we get as our running back coach and things like that. So I'm excited to see how this coaching staff does with this recruiting class. I think, all things considered, did a fantastic job.
Yeah, Tracy Claeys basically took Jerry Kill's recruits, but coached them extremely well, led them to a very successful season there in Minnesota at 9-4 before paving the way for PJ Fleck. And Tracy Claeys doing a nice job at Minnesota with maybe marginal talent playing a little bit above its head to finish in the top 15 or 20 in the nation 2 seasons ago. Interesting stuff there. Well, Scott, of course, recruiting is the lifeblood of any program. Mike Leach and his staff had to deal with the early signing period along with everyone else. We all had to cover it in a much different way than we have in previous seasons, as it just about 80 to 85% of the recruits were signed during that December signing period, but it still left a lot of questions for this past Wednesday and who was going to be brought into the fold. For the Cougars, you've got the 9th rated class in the Pac-12, according to 247 Sports, 45th in the nation. Just your initial thoughts about the signees.
Yeah, I thought our class, I think 9th is a little low, to be honest, especially with the trio that we got of Roderick Fisher from Spokane, Washington. You got Cameron Cooper from Utah. You got Max Borghi from Colorado. I think those are the 3 guys that everybody, when looking at WSU's recruiting class, are like, man, those are quality guys, especially with Cameron Cooper being able to be thrown in early. All 3 of those guys enrolled early on campus. So, and I listened to an interview on signing day. Cooper was saying that like him and Fisher and Borghi are all getting along. And that's fantastic. And I also think that this recruiting class, you got the Drew Jackson out of high school in Texas. I think he's a really good guy to look out for. So I think those 4 guys and Cade Besford, who also had offers, an offensive lineman from Washington who had offers from USC, UCLA, and then, Borghi spurring Stanford at the last second on the early signing period. So to see those kind of guys being able to be signed by Washington State when 5 years ago, these guys wouldn't even be on Washington State wouldn't even be on these guys' radar. So to have this caliber of recruiting class, I think speaks volumes to the recruiter that Mike Leach is and everyone else on his staff. And I'm really excited to see, 2, 3, 4 years down the road what this class has accomplished. And I think Cameron Cooper could be He could probably break Luke Falk's records if he gets to start as a freshman.
It's not surprising that California, Texas, and Florida comprise 40% of the elite recruits across the country, meaning the top 3 to 400. And then I look at this class, and most of the early enrollees seem to be junior college guys. And then the class that was just signed and completed here this past Wednesday, 11 of 18 hailing from the state of California. So no big surprise there. Do you think this class addresses any particular needs when it comes to positions, or what's maybe a little bit more different or significant about this class?
Absolutely. I think, obviously with the departure of Luke Falk and then the unfortunate passing of Tyler Helinski, I think Cameron Cooper was definitely, a void that we needed to fill, as well as Max Borghi when we had Jamal Morrow and Gerard Wicks graduating. I mean, the three-headed monster of those guys with James Williams last year. So to have James Williams and Max Borghi in the backfield, I think is going to be very intriguing as well. And then you have the departures of Tavares Martin Jr. and Isaiah Johnson-Mack. So to have guys like Drew Jackson and Roderick Fisher, a U.S. Army All-American, I mean, to have those guys come in and be those replacements, and you got Cade Besford, like I was saying, an offensive lineman to help with all of our departures as well. Got some good D linemen as well. I mean, names that I can't pronounce, just because they're confusing names and hard to pronounce. But I mean, those guys, I think this class did a fantastic job of filling the holes that we had from graduation, transferring, all that stuff. So I'm really excited to see how these kids, can fill the holes that we have and see what the 2018 Washington State football team looks like.
It's just going to take one TV game and you'll get those pronunciations down.
Exactly. Yep. That's all I got to do.
There you go.